Murder.
The smartest thing you can do is come to see me.
Tuesday, a special NBC movie presentation. When you can't call the cops, call Stingray. Tuesday.
I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Kirsten Lindquist. Coming up on News 11 tonight, pitching a tough line on drugs forces baseball to clean up its act.
A jail cell suicide in St. Paul ends a case of kidnapping and terror.
Also tonight, a musical look at Minnesota madness, better known as cabin fever.
And we'll wrestle out all the scores and highlights in our Prep Sports Extra.
Diana Pierce has the night off. News 11 is next.
The crowd can sense excitement as the band begins to play, and Disney's Magic Kingdom comes to life and skates your way. They're swinging into action, and the team is on a roll. The net result is laughter and applause, the only goal. They're stronger, faster, goofier. They're mighty men and mice. The show will score a knockout because they got the game on ice. They're rounding all the bases as the fans begin to cheer. They're sliding into your hometown. The Disney team is here.
Celebrate 50 years of Twin Cities' own Ice Valleys, March 19th through 30th at Met Center. Tickets at box office and Dayton's.
The big wigs in the office said move it out, so Best Buy Company's trucks are hitting the road, hauling name brand stereos, TVs, and appliances to the stores so you can buy them for less. We made special deals at the Consumer Electronics Show. Bought them by the truckload. But this merchandise won't do us any good sitting in our warehouse, so the trucks are rolling and the prices are hot. Look for our ads and blockbuster specials, then hurry to Best Buy Company's truckload sale. But watch out for our trucks.
The once-in-a-lifetime construction of the Winter Carnival Ice Palace has been documented in a 30-minute video presentation entitled The Minnesota Marvel. Buy this memorable tape for only $29.95 and receive a limited edition collector's coin. Call toll-free 1-800-742-5685. That's 1-800-742-5685. Save $5 COD charge by using your Visa or MasterCard, or send $29.95 to Minnesota Marvel, Box 111, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55440.
Now, from the action center of the Twin Cities, News 11 with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Ryther on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11, drugs in the dugout lead to some major league trouble.
For the first time in baseball history, players might be facing season suspensions for using drugs.
The word came down late this afternoon from Baseball Commissioner Peter Ueberroth, and it affects some of the nation's top ball players. Tom Ryther joins us now with more on the story. Tommy?
Paul, it really was a surprise. Peter Ueberroth went into the 1986 baseball season with one promise: to make the sport virtually drug-free. Today, he showed he meant business.
Baseball is dedicated to remove drugs from our sport, and we're well under our way to accomplishing that.
And to accomplish that, 7 Major League Baseball players implicated in drug use could face season-long suspensions, or they can play ball if they meet Ueberroth's demands. Those include donating 10% of their 1986 salaries to drug prevention centers in their baseball hometowns, random drug testing throughout their careers, and 100 hours of community service. Those facing that decision include Keith Hernandez of the New York Mets, Dave Parker of Cincinnati, Kansas City's Lonnie Smith, Dale Berra of the Yankees, Jeff Leonard of San Francisco, Enos Cabell out of the Dodgers camp, and Joaquin Andujar of the Oakland A's. 4 other players were penalized, but not as severely. Thankfully, none of the Minnesota Twins are involved. But as Jeff Passold reports, this is almost an instant replay for them.
Today's announcement did not come as a total surprise to the Twins, who are in the midst of spring training in Orlando, Florida. After all, it was just last season that former Twin Steve Howe was suspended from baseball by Commissioner Ueberroth because of repeated drug abuse. Twins player representative Ron Davis told News 11 today that as far as he knows, the Twins are clean now. Davis went on to say he thinks drug users have hurt baseball, but that now they can redeem themselves. He also admitted that his own union would probably disagree with his being in favor of the Uberoth decision. Once again, Peter Uberoth has made it clear he intends to clean up the game that folks watch here at the Dome. That's good news for local baseball fans and for former Twins who remain close to the game.
If we want to look at it in a positive thing, this is something that is good for baseball. We always thought that in baseball we were immune to that sort of thing, and we found out that we weren't. But we found out we had a problem, and I think the commissioner is on top of it, and he's trying to do something very positive to clean up the situation.
So as the teams continue to prepare for the season, Twins fans can rest with the fact that this time around their team wasn't mentioned in a drug probe, a trend we all hope continues. Jeff Passelt, News 11.
The Baseball Players Association said tonight that they would take a wait-and-see attitude on the suspensions until the union has time to review the decision. But really, this has been a surprise.
Now, even though the commissioner said he was going to do something about drugs, did anybody have any idea he was going to go this far?
Not really. I mean, he has been talking about it and talking about it. There's been some criticism. What are you going to do? And I think he really put the ball squarely in the players' court today, Paul.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy. The man accused of kidnapping an elderly Plainview couple last fall is dead tonight of an apparent overdose. John David Lander was found in his jail cell early this morning in spasms and near death. He was rushed to Ramsey County Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. He'd threatened to commit suicide before, and it appears that's what he's done, bringing an end to a bizarre case. Alan Costantini reports.
John David Lander's death brings a 4-month saga of estrangement and terror to an end. It was late October when Lander allegedly abducted his former in-laws from their Plainview, Minnesota home. Reportedly angry because they would not lend him money, he left elderly Richard Petty tied to a tree in a Wisconsin woods. Petty escaped, and while he and his children pleaded for Verna Petty's release, Lander took the woman to North Carolina, where he was captured after a week. Verna Petty was rescued and returned to Minnesota. Lander came back to stand trial on federal charges of kidnapping. On Thanksgiving Day, he confessed his crimes to News 11 over the telephone.
I'm not just sitting here behind this wall of justice, trying to get out of something that I did. I wanted to confess what I had done and that I was sorry for what I had done and that there's no way in the world that I'll ever be able to forgive myself.
Shortly after midnight this morning, Ramsey County deputies found the 28-year-old Lander on the floor of his cell. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. He had attempted suicide in the past, but his death surprised his jailers.
The previous suicide watch that he was on, he was taken off of it. He had convinced the medical staff, psychiatrist, and us that things were looking up.
Apparently, Lander felt things were not looking up. An autopsy report is to be released on Monday. Richard Petty died in Veterans Hospital on February 10th. Only Verna Petty survives of those directly involved in the Plainview tragedy. Alan Costantini, News 11.
Murder, that's the ruling tonight in the death of Richard Grass, a West St. Paul man whose body was discovered earlier this week. And now police are looking for the man who may have stabbed the insurance salesman and dumped his body on the banks of the Mississippi. The suspect is described as a 25-year-old man, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 170 pounds with blondish hair. He also wears an earring in his right ear. If you have any information, contact the St. Paul Police at 292-3650. Charges have been filed against a southwestern Minnesota banker accused of embezzling $1 million. Robert Howe, a former Fulda banker, was in federal court today, being arraigned on charges of false accounting and concealment. He'll be in court again Monday morning.
The Amhoist Crane Company and federal housing and urban development officials are in trouble tonight. In fact, federal investigators say they've broken the law. A year ago, Amhoist moved its headquarters from St. Paul to Wilmington, North Carolina, and 500 people lost Amhoist jobs here. Federal investigators say Amhoist illegally used a federal grant to make the move. Former employees say that's true.
Really left them do it, as far as I'm concerned. If the government would have put a stop to it, maybe the plant would still be there today.
Minnesota Congressman Bruce Vento says congressional hearings will be held on the Amhoist grant and soon. There's still uncertainty tonight as to just who owns huge parts of St. Paul and Minneapolis. There are rumors that a $1.1 billion deal has been struck between Oxford Properties and BCE Development out of Canada. That would mean Town Square, the World Trade Center, 50% of the IDS building, and a lot that will hold Saks Fifth Avenue all have changed hands. The Oxford vice president says he can neither confirm nor deny the deal, and one BCE representative says no agreement has been reached.
The deadline is fast approaching for those fishermen who like their lakes frozen. By midnight tonight, all permanent ice houses must be off Minnesota lakes. Jim Johnson and his friends were among the many procrastinators out tonight trying to get those houses unstuck and towed off. He says he meant to take care of it earlier, but time just slipped away.
We just put it off, kept on putting it off. We fished a couple hours tonight and got a few, but
And now?
get it off the lake.
Those who missed the midnight deadline will be ticketed and their ice houses could be seized and sold by the DNR. Still ahead tonight, a slip of the tongue after a presidential problem with reporters.
Also a campaign for ice cream and Frisbees.
And later, one crazy look at the cramped condition known as cabin fever.
Oh, cabin fever, I've had it up to here.
The sensible luxury car.
I like everything about my little Cimarron, but primarily the front-wheel drive for winter driving.
I'm a sports car owner, and I was quite surprised when I drove the 1985 Cimarron Cadillac. The thing handled just as well as my sports car, and yet it also gave me that elegance and feeling inside the car that you would not just expect in a sports car.
Discover the sensible side of sporty luxury in the 1986 Cadillac Cimarron, now at your Twin Cities Cadillac dealer.
How can Wix possibly beat the competition sale prices on recliners? Simple. We're giving them away during Wix Buy One, Get One Free recliner sale. Choose this traditional recliner, regularly $399.95, and get the second one free. Choose a vibrating heater recliner for $499.95, and the second one is free. Or one of these comfortable wall saver recliners, only $599 or $699.95. Buy one, get the second one free.
Wix, surprisingly Wix.
When you apply Lorsban 15G rootworm insecticide in front of the covering wheel, you get a band of protection shaped like a T. T-band with Lorsban 15G. You get banded and in-furrow protection from the surface for cutworms to the root zone for rootworms. T-band with seed-safe Lorsban 15G. In conservation or conventional tillage, it's the best way yet to control rootworms, cutworms, wireworms, grubs, and seed corn maggots too. T-band with Lorsban 15G. For corn security.
Sweden's Prime Minister Olof Palme was gunned down tonight on the streets of Stockholm, and police are frantically searching for the suspect. The 59-year-old leader had been in office since 1969 and was a very controversial figure during the Vietnam War. Palme had been walking down the street when the gunman attacked. He died minutes later on an operating table.
President Reagan made his feelings very clear to reporters today while trying to end a photo session. Mr. Reagan was trying to wrap up the session when reporters continued to question him about Ferdinand Marcos and the Philippine situation. After repeatedly saying he knew nothing more, the cameras moved off the president, but the microphone stayed on.
Sons of bitches.
As the president took off on Air Force One later in the day, he acted as if nothing had been said and he didn't know what the reporters were talking about.
Celebration in the streets continue as the Aquino government gears up, and that story tops Datelines tonight. In the Philippines, hundreds of exiled island natives return to their country now that the Marcos reign is over. They return to a hero's welcome in the streets of Manila as thousands continue to rejoice in the rise of Aquino and the fall of Marcos. In Israel, John Demaniuk was taken from a plane to an isolation cell to await trial as a war criminal. He's accused of killing thousands of Jews in gas chambers during the Nazi rule in Germany. Demaniuk had spent years in the United States working as an auto worker in Cleveland, but was stripped of his citizenship 5 years ago when officials learned he'd lied about his Nazi past. In Houston, nearly 450 NASA workers will be laid off in a direct response to the shuttle disaster. Plans to delay any more launches for at least 1 year have forced the space agency to cut back until future plans are on the books. And in Carmel, California, the king of the silver screen continues his bid for mayor. Clint Eastwood is continuing his handshaking autograph writing campaign that promises frisbee throwing in the parks and ice cream eating in the streets. You see, those are two things that are illegal in that California city right now.
That seems almost un-American.
Yeah, it sort of does.
Well, Paul Douglas joins us now to fill us in on his campaign to bring spring to Minnesota.
I hope I can make
How's
your
it
day
going?
here. I hope I can make your day. We're talking 40s by early next week. Pretty good looking weekend on the way weather-wise. There will be some sunshine, especially Sunday afternoon. March is going to come in like a lamb, as it now looks. Then again, I could be lying.
You
Could be out of a job here if I don't get on with this here. And
my weather.
Make your weather. I'll do that right now. Has this problem, this question been tormenting you? Is there any statistical proof that if March comes in like a lamb, it goes out like a lion and vice versa? Well, Frank Watson and I delved through Ream's stacks of old musty weather records dating back to the 1300s. And we can find no statistical evidence in the Twin Cities that if March comes in like a lamb, it goes out like a lion, or vice versa. It's an interesting bit of weather folklore, and it certainly does point out how fickle the weather can be during the month of March. We can have lovely days where the sun is out and temperatures are in the 50s, and then we can have knockdown, drag-out snowstorms. Actually, March is going to come in somewhere in between. Tomorrow, kind of a gray, gooey day, but by Sunday, it's going to feel like spring, just a tad. Earlier today in the backyard, well, we had some cloudiness and some flurries. 25 was the high, a low of 3, just a trace of snow. In the backyard right now, cloudy, the sky spitting a few snowflakes here and there, 23 degrees, a west breeze at 12. The wind chill 4, the humidity 84, and the pressure 30.08 and holding steady. You want to talk about a cold front. On the satellite photograph, take a look at this front. 81 this afternoon at Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 38 behind the front in Atlanta. There may be a frost this weekend as far south as Tallahassee and Jacksonville, Florida. This weekend, flurries were spotted today as far south as Louisiana and the suburbs of Atlanta. In contrast, very warm air now wafting eastward across the Rockies. Temperatures climbed up into the 50s as close to us as the Black Hills. This is the warm front that is going to gum up our skies tomorrow. And as this upper air disturbance races southeastward, it's going to irritate this frontal boundary, this leading edge of warmer air. And what all this means is a pretty good chance of unsettled weather. Tomorrow, a few hours of drizzle, maybe even a little light rain or wet snow. Over the Arrowhead, it could be cold enough for a few inches of wet, slushy snow tomorrow afternoon. 22 now in the cities, a few flurries near Sioux Falls. And we want to show you some of the more than 15 record highs over the Southwest. 76 in San Francisco, 92 again today in Phoenix, the 5th record consecutive day of unbelievable warmth over the Southwest. Tomorrow, fog, drizzle, clouds, a little light rain. We should finally break out into a partly sunny air mass by late Sunday. We'll have all the details next.
In the printing business, small details are important, but you have to step back to see the true picture. And when you need financing, you want a bank that can do the same.
Laser scanner separations is definitely superior.
A bank that knows your business
would be a 5-year fixed-rate loan
and is willing to work on your timetable, not theirs. No matter what your business is, there's only one place where you can expect this responsiveness. The First Banks. We are the business banks, where your business belongs.
After premixed Lasso and Atrazine won Jim Sefton's on-farm yield test, he switched herbicides.
Lasso Atrazine yielded 6.3 bushel more to the acres. I mean, that's just like if you were raising hogs as we do, and that sow raises one more pig above the national average. I mean, that's pretty well all gravy, you know.
Lasso or premixed Lasso and Atrazine. Less stress, more yield.
This year it could very well be a difference between profit and loss because we're in a tight squeeze.
We're all waiting for the fabulous Suzanne, but I know she'll choose me and my Chrysler LeBaron GTS. Comparably equipped, it costs $189 less than Pontiac 6000, $571 less than old Sierra, $651 less than Buick Century. That buys a lot of roses. And GTS is the only one with a 550 protection plan, an optional turbo, and a liftback big enough for Suzanne's pussycat.
Now get 8.6% financing or $500 or $1,000 cash back on GTS.
Like to save money? Then you'll love Levitt's Greater Savings Sale, because Levitt's has cut prices in every department in their showroom. Now for a limited time only.
You may be doing some traveling over the weekend. We don't expect any big headaches on the highways, but one disclaimer. If the drizzle comes in before noontime tomorrow, which is possible, it could freeze on some highways, on some bridges. It could be slick during the morning hours. Most of the stuff should fall in the afternoon, and by that time, temperatures should be above 32. Here's the outlook for tonight. No problems tonight. Mostly cloudy, a damp breeze, 19 to 24. And then tomorrow, clouds, fog, a chance of a little drizzle or maybe even a little wet snow in the afternoon, 31 to 36 as that warm air tries to gurgle in. Sunday looks brighter, a gray start giving way to some PM brightening, 38. And we're still talking a good chance of 40 degrees by early next week. Officially down at the airport where no one lives, 15 inches of snow on the ground. By Monday or Tuesday, that'll be down to about 10 or 11. Get out there and romp in it while you can. Paul and Kirsten.
Romp in the slush?
Not.
Right.
Well,
Thanks.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
See you later. In a month-long tour of our towns, Marty Burns-Wolf has shown us places and let us in on some secrets that make the Twin Cities special. Tonight, she wraps up her series with a viewer's view of some little-known facts that make our towns what they are.
For the past 27 days, we brought you some of the neat things that we think make our towns so special. Some we weren't quite sure of, but we just liked them a whole lot. Now it's time for some contributions made by you, our viewers, such as the suggestion from David Vetter of St. Paul, who says that this is the highest and maybe the oldest skyway in the Twin Cities, located off the 16th and 17th floors of the St. Paul National Bank building, the east-west wing. Ted Helgeson tells us this is the shortest skyway, 8 feet long, connecting Midland Plaza on South 2nd with the Western Union building, now the AT&T building, in Minneapolis. Other viewers called to tell us that the Minnesota Museum of Art in St. Paul is an example of Art Deco and was financed by women raising money during the Depression, and the only major work the architect ever did. Then there's the Stockyard, the Exchange building, built in 1887. It's sort of castle-like, not cattle-like. Not to forget that the Minneapolis Children's Theater is the largest in the nation, that there's enough concrete in the Pillsbury building to build a 2-lane highway from here to beyond Duluth, and that there's a ghost in Four Paws in St. Paul. Also, that St. Anthony Falls are the only falls on the Mississippi, and the first in the Western Hemisphere used to generate electricity. Now, all of these things and many more make our towns pretty special places to live. And while this series could go on forever, it won't. It will end tonight with the month of February. But if you are looking for a city to live in, we have a couple of suggestions for you. Marty Burnswolf, News 11 in our towns of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Our Towns is going to become a weekly feature here on News 11, Fridays at 5 and 10, and any ideas from any of you at home are very welcome.
Next up tonight, in search of a remedy for cabin fever.
And we'll take a musical look at how the Minnesota madness hits us when News 11 continues.
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Morning.
Good morning.
With something very special at Perkins.
Morning.
Yes, it's Perkins Magnificent 7, featuring 3 pancakes, 2 eggs, and 2 pieces of bacon or sausage, all 7 for this very special price. And the best part is, we serve it anytime.
There are lots of ways to slip and slide, but if you want to be steady as you go in the snow, Nissan's newest innovation is for you. Announcing the new 4-wheel drive Stanza Wagon with its big 2-liter engine. With 2- and 4-wheel drive, fingertip control, plus available seating for 7. Family, friends, or carpoolers. The 4-wheel drive Stanza Wagon. A new way to go one-up on Old Man Winter. They're available now at one of these Minnesota Nissan dealers. Go see them.
Stop wild Proso millet from running wild and take care of 33 weeds and grasses before they start with Eradicate Extra.
MASH, still everyone's late night favorite. Weeknights at 10:35 on TV 11.
Some call it the midwinter blues, others a dose of Minnesota madness, but for most, cabin fever describes it best.
It's the unshakable feeling you get when the winds and the snow are flying outside and the last of your firewood is burning inside.
So what do you do to make it through? Well, how about a music video on the very subject that's driving you crazy? Now, that's exactly what our anything but timid News 11 assignment editor by night, talented songwriter by day did. Mike Gady teamed up with photographer Brian Augustine. That's Mike on the left with a tie. That's Augie sitting there in the vest. Anyway, they put together this not very sane, I mean, you can tell not very sane, just look at them, rendition of Cabin Fever.
Old man Winter, you haven't got the best of me yet. Dizzy. I'm freezing to death. I need you to cut. I'll just give up on you and just give up. There's cold out on the prairie. There's frost upon my sill. My door is froze, now it won't close. I better write a will. I've read up all my comic books. I think I'll find a rope. My ears are blue, I've got the flu, and I just can't seem to cope. I just can't seem to cope. Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here. Oh, cabin fever, I've had it up to here. The cold has got me hypnotized. My mind is in a snooze. I'm sitting in my cabin with cabin fever blues. I always cheat at solitaire. I think these cards are stacked. And when I lose, I get the blues. And now these cards are hacked. Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here. I sleep too much and my mind is blank. I've nothing left to fear. The cold has got me hypnotized. My life is just a zoo. I'm wasting in my cabin with cabin fever blues. I've burned up all my firewood, now my feet are cold. I have no chance, my pants won't dance, and boy, this cold is old. And boy, this cold is old. Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here. Oh, cabin fever, I've had it up to here. Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here. Oh, cabin fever, I've had it up to
Cabin fever.
Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here. Oh, cabin fever, I've had it up to here. Oh, cabin fever, let me out of here.
This Honda Civic has been held up as the best value in a four-door import. But now there's the 86 Colt DL. Same size engine, same front-wheel drive, same room for 5, but they're not the same. The Colt is less expensive by $900 flat. Colt, imported for Dodge, built by Mitsubishi in Japan. Colt, it's all the Japanese you need to know.
Folks, you'd better hurry and truck on down because Sun Valley Waterbed's truckload sale is almost over.
We made a special purchase, and right now you'll find truckloads of extraordinary savings, like this complete mirrored bookcase waterbed, only $199, or this complete bedroom, including dresser, mirror, nightstand, and waterbed, only $699.
But you'd better hurry. These special purchase prices are only good through Monday at Sun Valley Waterbeds. Take the road to savings and sleep better in the bargain.
The Sound Centers always have the largest Sony selection. And right now, it's all on sale, like the new Sony Handycam video system. Perfect for travel or family, because anyone can just point and shoot. Instant home movies you can enjoy on any TV. Amazing. And $300 off. Or this 19-inch Sony Trinitron with remote. Last chance for just $389. Store-wide Sony savings now at all 3 Sound Centers.
Colorado College is in town tonight facing the Gophers in hockey, and the Gophers really socked it to them.
I think you can call this a blowout. I think, Paul, that fits the description. The hockey team, the Gophers, off on the right foot tonight in the WCHA playoffs. They just jumped all over Colorado College, 10-4, first game, total goal series. As we go to some highlights in the game, the Gophers moved out fast. Wally Chapman scored in the first period, a backhander, and that made it 1-0 Minnesota. Later, Corey Millen got the puck to Chapman. He cashed in on goal number 2. He had 5 goals tonight. Minnesota coasted 10-4. Game 2 is tomorrow night. Other games in the WCHA playoffs. As we check those scores now, Denver leading Michigan Tech. UMD, let's see how they did now. UMD, there we go. 3-3, the game in the third with Northern Michigan. Wisconsin and North Dakota will play tomorrow. In the National Hockey League, the Islanders over Winnipeg. The Islanders will be here to play the North Stars tomorrow. Toronto over Detroit. Quebec defeating Buffalo 6-2. And Philadelphia and Vancouver, no score in the first period. In college basketball tonight, the Gopher women's team opened their final homestand of the season against Indiana, that at Williams Arena. The final score, it was a good night. As you see, Indiana had the good night, 75-69, and we have Ohio State losing to Iowa. Those teams are tied in the Big Ten races. For the Minnesota game, the Gophers led by junior Molly Tadich out of Jefferson High School with 24 points. Teammate Diane Kenny out of Burnsville also tough. She added 12 to the cause, not enough. The Gophers lose to Indiana 75-69, and they will host Big Ten leader Ohio State Sunday at noon. Also in college basketball on the men's side, NCAA Division III in the Western region, Dubuque, Iowa 71, St. John's out of Collegeville 47. For the 9th time this year, the world indoor pole vault record has been broken. At the Mobile Championships at Madison Square Garden in New York, Sergei Bubka of the Soviet Union cleared 19.6 inches tonight on his second attempt. The 22-year-old also holds the current outdoor pole vault record. The Russian truly is the greatest in the world as we watch him go over again. In notes, the Gopher wrestling team will host the Big Ten Championships tomorrow and Sunday at Williams Arena. The first round matches will be at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And in college basketball, one score just in. St. Cloud over South Dakota, 85-78. St. Cloud is ranked number 2 in the nation.
Okay, thanks, Tommy. Just ahead tonight, get your scorecards ready.
We'll have our fast-talking Friday night version of the News 11 Prep Sports Extra next, so stay with us.
The once-in-a-lifetime construction of the Winter Carnival Ice Palace has been documented in a 30-minute video presentation entitled The Minnesota Marvel. Buy this memorable tape for only $29.95 and receive a limited edition collector's coin. Call toll-free 1-800-742-5685. That's 1-800-742-5685. Save $5 COD charge by using your Visa or MasterCard, or send $29.95 to Minnesota Marvel, Box 111, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55440.
AT&T wants you to think that they're different from MCI. But with MCI's Dial 1 long-distance service, you call the same way, to the same places, coast to coast, with the same information operators and the same clear connections as AT&T. And, MCI saves you money. Maybe that's the difference that AT&T was talking about.
When asked to choose a long-distance company for your home or business, choose MCI.
Ethan Allen's Welcome Home Sale. Welcome home to a variety of design styles at exceptional value. Save now on all our most popular furniture and home furnishings. Everything for the home, including free design assistance. Whatever your needs, whatever your taste, you'll find a great selection of Ethan Allen home furnishings now at winter sale savings.
Your Twin Cities Ethan Allen Galleries, located in Edina, Maplewood, Mendota Heights, and Minnetonka.
It's Magnavox annual sale time again, and that's big news. Magnavox offers high-quality, state-of-the-art products that can stand up to close inspection, with features like our new flat square picture tube, built-in stereo capability, and more. Also, for a limited time, we're offering factory rebates of up to $200 on selected models. So don't wait. This is not just any sale.
This is Magnavox. See quality Magnavox products at Wally Pickle Music Store.
Okay, sports fans, the night you've been waiting for, our Friday edition of the Prep Sports Extra.
Tom Reither, Jeff Passolt, and Randy Shaver out in the field have teamed up to give us all the high school highlights.
Ready to go?
I'm ready.
Friday night, let's fire off. We start out tonight with Section 1 hockey. Burnsville battling Rochester Mayo in the final.
Remember now, the winner in this game advances to next week's state tournament. We're going to pick up the action in the first period. Burnsville getting on the board first. And it's going to be Scott Schulze bombing a slap shot into the net, making it 1-0 Burnsville. Later in the first period, Burnsville senior Matt Larson made it 2-0 off the faceoff with another slap shot. And then in the second period, Burnsville's Scott Bloom added a pair of goals as Burnsville took the Section 1 championship. We go to the final score, and here's how it ended, folks. 5-1, so Burnsville will get another opportunity to defend last year's state title.
All right, Jeff, in the Section 3 final tonight, Hill Murray leading White Bear Lake 3-0. The game is in the second period. A minute and a half into the first period, Hill Murray's Mark Johnson breaks loose, beats the goaltender, 1-0 Hill Murray. Later in the first, it was White Bear Lake. They appeared to tie the score. Now, it looks like it, but the puck apparently did not cross the line. Watch it closely. While the White Bear team was celebrating, no goal. Hill Murray added 2 more goals in the second period, so they now lead 3-0 in the second.
All right, in Section 4 of the championship game, South St. Paul headed back to the state tournament, 3-1 over Harding. We have highlights. South St. Paul wasted little time getting things going. Just 9 seconds into the game, Scott Cunningham feeding Ted Hamlin. He gets the goal, and South St. Paul takes an early 1-0 lead. Then with South St. Paul up 2-0 in the second, Harding broke the shutout when Charlie Rambo, I bet you he gets some kidding about that name. He popped one home, and it was 2-1 South St. Paul. Then in the third period, South St. Paul's Jim Leonard added an empty netter to make it a 3-1 final. South St. Paul moving on to the state tournament in Section 4. And in Section 8, the championship game, look at that. Bemidji, little trouble with Moorhead tonight. They shut them out 10-0, so Bemidji is headed for the state tournament. So there are 5 hockey section finals set, and 3 more will be decided tomorrow, then the state tournament next week.
All right, it's time to shift gears and talk high school wrestling. Day 2 of the state wrestling tournament at the St. Paul Civic Center. Our Randy Shaver has been there all day, and he brings us up to date. Randy, how's it going? Okay, apparently we've had some kind of technical difficulty, so I think what we will do is show you some highlights here. And let's see what we have. Oh, we're going to move on now to...
Let's go right on to gymnastics.
Okay, you got it. Gymnastics.
If we can, we'll get back to Randy. All right, the 12th annual state gymnastics meet got underway today at the Minneapolis Auditorium. Today's action was devoted to team competition in both Class A and AA. This is Julie Newman of Lakeville on the uneven bars, who came through with a strong performance tonight as we get a good look at the beauty and the power of gymnastics. Her teammates came through with a strong performance, too. We'll look at the final results. Lakeville taking the Class AA team finals, and then Eden Prairie came in second. Armstrong, number 3.
All right, before we go back to Randy, if we can, let's check some other scores out of... Okay, then we are going to go now to Randy Shaver at the St. Paul Civic Center. We'll get this thing right. Randy, how you doing there?
All right, let's start over again. Apple Valley won easily today in their Class AA semifinal. They're in the championship tomorrow. And we got a highlight from their match against Cold Spring Ricori. In brown is Matt Demaray, and he pinned Mike Bertker at 132 pounds, a minute 23 into the match, and Apple Valley got 4 pins and a technical fall to win easily over Cold Spring, 48-12. As we check the scoreboard, Apple Valley, of course, the defending state champion. They will meet Osseo in tomorrow's 3 o'clock final. Osseo beating Eden Prairie. It came down to heavyweight in this one. That's Osseo's Troy Shoden on top of the Eagles' Cliff Colston. A dramatic first period pin for Shoden to seal it. So Osseo will go up against Apple Valley tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the AA championship. Now, in the Class A championship, also tomorrow at 3 o'clock, 6-time state defending champion Staples will go for their 7th straight title tomorrow. They will take on Canby. Again, that starting time is at 3 o'clock, and we will have more on the state wrestling tournament tomorrow at 5, and of course tomorrow night on our Prep Sports Extra at 10 o'clock. Tom, Jeff, back to you.
Okay, Randy, now let's go back to the gymnastics as we had threatened to do earlier and check out the Class A team finals. As we see, Jackson won the state title, followed by St. Anthony, and then 2 Harbor. Some action in that. A tough break for Breck. Their defending all-around champion, Tasha Sween, is out of competition. She sprained an ankle in practice yesterday, and that's a tough time for her. The winner today, Jackson, and here junior Tammy Allen on the vault. Jackson finished less than a point ahead of St. Anthony. The individual competition in both Class A and AA is all set for tomorrow. And finally tonight, one girls basketball playoff score to report.
Nothing to show you from AA regionals. They all play tomorrow night, but this score from District 17A, Waconia. Moving on to region play, they win it over Regina, 50-40, the final score.
All right, tomorrow I'll be back with hockey and wrestling, gymnastics, and basketball.
Another busy night.
All right, that's it.
All right, feels like Friday the 13th a little bit, doesn't it? Well, thank you at home for joining us. We're glad it's Friday. You have a good weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
And have a nice March.
Yeah, that's
Good night.
A celebration. Great American Frigidaire savings are going on now. Come and save on select Frigidaire appliances.
Look at that score, folks. Richfield on their way to an upset, 2-0 in the second period. We're going to pick up the action early in the second. Richfield's Rick Schrick fires a slap shot from the blue line. He scores, and it's 1-0 Richfield. Then, later in the second period, Richfield striking again. Jeff Hatton gets the goal to put Richfield up 2-0. He scores right there in front. That's where it stands right now in the second period.
All right, we all go to another game in the Section 6 semifinals. Minnetonka over Armstrong 3-2. In that game, the game tied at 1. Third period, when Minnetonka's Chad Hansen gets a rebound, putting Tonka up 2-1. It was Hansen's second goal of that game. Moments later, Minnetonka struck again when sophomore Tim Hannes fed Jeff Christ in the slot. He popped it in there, and it made it 3-1 Minnetonka. Armstrong battled back when Chris Hansen cut Minnetonka's lead to 1 with a goal late in the game, but Minnetonka held on to win it 3-2, and they advanced to the Region 6 AA championship game.
All right, we're going to go to other scores now. Section 2 semifinals up in Duluth. It was Denfeld 8-2 over St. Cloud Apollo, and Anoka shut out Ramsey tonight 3-0. We go to action in that game. There was no score in the second period when Anoka got on the board. Todd Hartje puts the Tornadoes in front with a quick wrist shot from the top of the left circle. 1-0 Anoka. Then in the third period, Anoka struck again. This time it's going to be Mark Renslow getting the goal. So Anoka advances to the Section 2 championship game Saturday afternoon in Duluth against Denfeld. And one final hockey score tonight. This in the championship game of Section 7. Hibbing headed to yet another state tournament. They beat Greenway tonight 4-2. All right, changing gears. The state high school wrestling tournament began this afternoon at the St. Paul Civic Center. As you can imagine, it has been a busy day.
And now our Randy Shaver and photographer Don Doran, who, by the way, is a high school wrestling referee, have been out there all day long. And Randy, fill us in on what's happening at the Civic Center.
All right, Tom. Tonight, moments ago, 6-time defending state champion Staples in Class A beat Paynesville in the quarterfinals. A key highlight in the Staples match. First, let's take a close look at Don Dravis, the head coach. He lives each match in this thing. Look at the intensity on his face. It's probably why he's so successful at Staples. Now, 126 pounds, Paynesville's Sean Meager leads unbeaten Darrell Card 6-3, 6 seconds to go. But Staples' Card gets 4 points in 6 seconds on a reverse and a takedown and wins the match 7-6. Staples was up 15-0 at this point and went on to win the final 24-19. They'll face Foley tomorrow night, 8:30 in the semifinals. And the other semifinal in Class A, Plainview over Janesville, 29-20, and can be a winner. So those two teams will meet in the semis tomorrow night. Now in Class AA team quarterfinals, great finish in the Coon Rapids Cold Spring Ricori match. It came down to heavyweight. Brian Nelson for Cold Spring, a big takedown here to break a 6-6 tie. He beat Jim Novak to secure a Cold Spring Ricori upset today. The final in that one was 33-28 Cold Spring. They'll now face state defending champion Apple Valley tomorrow night at 6:30 in the semifinals. Apple Valley an easy winner today. Eden Prairie over Kennedy and Osseo beats St. Francis. Those two teams will meet tomorrow in the semifinals. 5 defending state champions came into today's first 2 rounds, and all 5 have advanced to tomorrow night, and we'll have more tomorrow night at 6 live and again tomorrow night in the extra from the state wrestling meet here at the St. Paul Civic Center. Tom, Jeff, back to you.
Okay, Randy, thank you. He has been there all day long with photographer Don Doran, so he'll probably stay there all night long. Now let's check out the Class A Regional Girls Basketball tonight, starting with quarterfinal action in Region 5 AA.
The number 1 seed in this region is Osseo. They played at home tonight. We checked the score in that one, and it's Osseo winning over Southwest 54-37. The other score in that quarterfinal action, Park Center 48, South 38. We have highlights from that Osseo game. Southwest big gun tonight was Jamie Arndt. She finished with 15 points on the evening, 2 there on the running jumper, but Osseo came through with a more balanced effort scoring-wise. Tracy Savage led their attack with 16 points. Osseo, one of the favorites in 5AA, comes through with an opening round win. Other scores in 5AA action now. Totino Grace 54-45 over Minnehaha Academy. And look at that score. Holy Angels by 1 in double overtime over Roosevelt.
All right, Jeff, in girls basketball, Region 6AA first round. Minnetonka with a win over Wayzata tonight. Richfield defeating Cooper. It was Hopkins over Jefferson. And Kennedy defeating Orono. Highlights from that Kennedy-Orono game. Orono came through with an all-out effort tonight by Shelley Gabrelsic. 17 points, got 2 there from the free throw line. But Kennedy just too tough to match. Lori Vidmore led the Eagles 20 points. They won it by 13 in that Region 6AA first round action.
All right, other girls basketball scores. Region 2AA in the quarterfinal. Last year, Tom Ryther nicknamed them the Whiz Kids. Mankato East, we got to call them the Wise Kids now. They won tonight. Other scores: Shakopee with a win and Chaska winning by 5.
Okay, and that's pretty much it. We will be back again tomorrow night.
All sorts of things going on tomorrow.
300,000 people attend state tournaments in the next month. There you go.
Well, thank you both very much.
Yeah.
Good job. Every score you'd want to know.
That's right.
Plus a few
we
don't.
have it here.
Plus a few we don't care about. We'll see you back.
We care about all of them.
We do. We care about all of them. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.
Need a new radio for that old buggy of yours? Tired of the same old thing? Add a new dimension to your vehicle entertainment world. What FM car stereo? What if we add an auto-reversing cassette deck? All right, we'll throw in a TV. Now what's it worth to you? This complete vehicle entertainment center offers you a 50-watt sound system with Zoom,